Hello everyone, welcome. We're just gonna take a few moments to settle in, wait for people to join. Hope everyone's enjoying their day today with this amazing virtual retreat. Super, super cool. If you want to use this time while we're waiting just to start to either grab your favorite essential oil bottle or whatever essential oil you might have on hand. If you don't have an essential oil, even a piece of fruit, or I just cut this rosemary from my garden. If you have any flowers or anything in your refrigerator that might be herbal and aromatic, we're just going to do a quick aromatic meditation in a few minutes before we start. But like I said, we're just going to spend a few moments just waiting for people to join. Hope everyone's enjoying their day. All right. All right, why don't we get started? To introduce myself, my name is Sarah Song, and I'm a certified aromatherapist and founder of Your Limbic, which is a wellness company dedicated to helping people de-stress, prevent burnout, find their well-being using aromatherapy as a tool for self-care. And for me in my own personal journey, aromatherapy was really, really helpful for me in learning how to manage stress better. So I hope that what we get to share today and what I can share with you is going to help you not only in your day-to-day with de-stressing, but also just enhance your summer wellness routine. I see a few people logging in, so yeah, why don't we get started? And thank you for joining. This is the aromatherapy session for the Murad Professional Wellness Retreat, which is super cool. And I'm here to share with you some ways that we can use essential oils and aromatherapy to help beat the summer heat. I live in Los Angeles. We've been going through a really intense heat wave. And the amazing thing about essential oils is not only can they help us from an emotional point of view to help us connect better and de-stress, but they're really great for helping us stay cool in the body as well and also help nourish the skin. So I'm going to share with you some of my favorite summer essential oils and DIY practices that are super easy to do at home or with a client and how to do them safely. So just to start, I want to take a few minutes for us to kind of settle in. This is your day of wellness, your day of relaxation. So if you have a bottle of essential oil or even something like an orange that you might have had, just peel your orange so you can really smell that essential oil that's in the zest. And whatever you might have handy, if you don't have anything, that's totally fine as well, because you can just close your eyes and enjoy this practice too. But I just want us to take a few moments to kind of settle the mind, settle the body, and really tune in to what's happening when we use our sense of smell. So just close down the eyes, and whatever aromatic or bottle of essential oil you might have, just bring it up to your nose and slowly inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Take some long, deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. And every time we do these long inhalations, it's really wonderful to send the messages back up to your brain that we are safe and everything is okay and everything is smooth sailing within our body. So just keep inhaling and exhaling with your eyes closed. And I don't want you to have to do anything, or we don't have to be anywhere except for right here. And I just want you to notice and observe as you inhale this aromatic, if any emotions are coming to the surface, if any memories are coming to the surface, and even if you sense anything in the body when you smell your aromatic. Sometimes we smell essential oils or botanicals, and we feel it in the head. Sometimes we feel it in the gut. Sometimes we feel it in the heart region. So just listen into what your plant or botanical is communicating to you and where you might be feeling it. And just keep breathing in, slowly through the nose, exhaling through the nose. And just observe. And the next time you come to the bottom of your exhale, just gently blink open your eyes and notice what you might be feeling. And hopefully you're feeling something just even a little bit different than when we first started this exercise. You might be feeling a little bit calmer, more relaxed, a little more expansive, a little more grounded. Maybe you're just even listening into what other parts of your brain are activated when we are able to disengage that thinking and over-analytical side of our brain and really just feel and observe. So thank you for doing that with me. I hope you feel a little bit more relaxed as we start off and go into a little bit more of a deep dive with our essential oils for summer. So like I said, Los Angeles is really, really hot, and these essential oils can help us cool down not only emotionally, but also from a sensorial, tactile point of view, and also nourishing the skin. And I do want to start off by just talking a little bit about what is an essential oil and how they are able to help us in such different and dynamic ways. An essential oil, and I'm just picking up this piece of rosemary to demonstrate, they are the aromatic molecules that come from any plant material. So it's really important to distinguish. In the world of aromatherapy, it's a very broad term, but the practice of aromatic medicine and clinical aromatherapy is only using the essential oils that come from the plant material. So nothing synthetic, nothing that might have been created in a laboratory. It's really just the plant material. And that's the power of it, if when we are able to smell the essential oils that come out of the bottle, that it's really the plant being able to communicate back to us. And these essential oil molecules are extremely potent and extremely powerful, so we have to use them in a very safe way, which I'll share with you today what that looks like. But they are able, like I said, to help us de-stress in a really, really powerful way. And while it might be hard to pinpoint your finger on how it's working, it's actually quite a simple mechanism that I want to share with you. So the reason that our sense of smell is so powerful is it really just has to do with the biology of our brain and our nasal cavity and how our sense of smell has evolved over time. So when we smell these molecules, they're going up the nasal cavity, and the first thing that they hit within our brain is a very special area called the limbic system. And the limbic system is really, really important to our survival and our well-being because it oversees functions such as our memory formation, hormonal balance, our stress response. So if you've heard of the fight or flight stress response, it's all emanating from the amygdala within our limbic system, and also our sense of smell. So those four very powerful things are all working very closely together. Now, when we are stressed out and we identify something as a threat, whether it's something actually life-threatening or it's just a barrage of emails that might be coming in, or your phone is ringing off the hook, or you just don't have enough time to get everything done, that's going to amp up our entire system. That's the sympathetic nervous system. So what that looks like is our heart starts racing, our mind is overactive, we actually can't think or learn anything new when we're really stressed out. The adrenaline is being pumped through our body, and it's all for good reason. It's because our body and our brain is really trying to keep us alive. But the issue is when we're chronically stressed, and what Dr. Murad calls cultural stress, which is kind of this never-ending pervasive stress that we're feeling. We have a pandemic that we're living through right now, and we're dealing with a lot of things that we've never really had to deal with before simultaneously. So when the system, the sympathetic nervous system, is really activated, the best thing that we can do is just disrupt that action. And the fastest and most effective way to do that is through our sense of smell, because like I just explained, our sense of smell is interacting and is integrally part of this entire limbic system. So that's why our sense of smell can be such a tool for us and is super powerful, because we can activate that part of the limbic, quiet it down, tell our brain and signal back to our brain that everything is calm and okay. And even just the short moments that we just did with that exercise, hopefully you felt just even a little bit of a difference from before and after. So those little meditations with the aroma are just a great way to take 30 seconds to 1 minute out of your day and help you with stress if you're feeling really overstressed in that moment. So I'm really excited to share with you also my favorite summer go-to oils. And I first want to start off with the concept of being kind to your mind, which is one of Dr. Murad's pillars of wellness. And I want to create for you one of my favorite summer essential oil blends, because when I think of summer, and we talked about how the limbic is related to memory, I think of just sun and lightheartedness and being outside in the warmth. And I think of my citrus oils, because I just think of all of these beautiful, bountiful citrus fruits that we get to enjoy in the summertime. So I want to share with you a blend that I do involving citrus oils, and I have some of my favorites here, and of course you can use whichever citrus oils you want. Another reason why I recommend citrus for a summer blend is because they are very light molecules, which means that if you imagine, they're kind of like elevating and buzzing to the top, and they top of the air, and they evaporate really quickly. It's a top note, so that means that you're not going to have these heavy molecules kind of like hanging out and you know, bringing down your mood. We're talking about really light, a kind of effervescence that comes with the summertime feel, and this helps me to be kind to my mind. So I have my diffuser here. This is a nebulizing diffuser, which basically just means that it is does not require water. It does not require heat. It just micro vibrates and disperses the pure essential oil into the air. So it's extremely potent. I personally love it. But you can use any diffuser, a water diffuser, or anything that you have handy. And I'm gonna, in my blend today, use grapefruit, which is one of my all-time favorites. I'm going to be using mandarin. This mandarin I have is a red mandarin, and it has almost like a little bit of a floral note to it. And I've been obsessed with yuzu lately, which is an Asian citrus. It has such a unique, kind of sophisticated, elevated citrus scent to it. And then I have a magic ingredient that I'm going to round the scent off with, which is sandalwood. And I'll explain that in just a second. So I'm just doing 2 drops of each just to keep it nice and even. And you can always adjust based on what your liking is. And these are just, you know, some of a lot of citrus oils that you can use. Now, the sandalwood is a really beautiful, soft wood, and it is a little bit thicker, so it comes on this little dropper. But I'm just going to put 2 drops into here. And the reason why I like to pair it with a little bit of sandalwood, which might sound a little bit funny, is that it has kind of this very calming base note element to it. And sometimes when you're dealing with a lot of citrus, it has a sharpness to it. This is going to be that essential oil to balance that out in a very harmonious way, but at the same time, it's not going to overwhelm that citrus scent. And another thing is, if you are a follower of the Ayurvedic medicine tradition, then sandalwood is one of the recommended essential oils that helps with the pitta dosha, which basically means that if you're pitta, you're very hot, you run fiery. And so this is one of the calming oils, not only to the mind, but to the body. So I just have 2, 2, and 2, or 2, 2, 2, 2 of my essential oils. I'm just gonna mix it in here so they can all get to know each other. And a couple safety and just general tips about using a diffuser. I'm going to turn mine on here just to get our summer ambiance going. Diffusing, especially out of something like a nebulizer, it's concentrated molecules being dispersed into the air. And you just want to make sure that you're always using a very ventilated space, that you are toggling with maybe 10 minutes on, 10 minutes off. This particular diffuser is already preset with the 10 on, 10 off. You really want to give yourself a break, because if you just are constantly inhaling all of these molecules, it's gonna eventually just be overwhelming and you'll probably like end up with a headache, to be quite honest. I just have to say, this summer blend is like so delicious. It's really amazing. I hope you try it. And the yuzu is just such a beautiful scent that's kind of really unique, just a little different, very light. The last thing I want to share with you about diffusing is if you have pets, which many of us do, just make sure that they have an opening to a door that they can let themselves out of the room on their own accord. The animal's olfaction, like dogs, it's probably 50,000 times stronger than our sense of smell. So if we're feeling like something is good for them, it might be hypersensitive. So just make sure your pet can move in and out of the space. So I'm gonna just leave our summer diffuser blend going right over here. It's starting to smell beautiful in this room. And next I want to go to Awaken the Body, which is another one of Dr. Mira's pillars of wellness, and show you two things that I do to help cool off in the summertime. One of them is using a spray of a Peppermint Hydrosol. Now, Hydrosol, if you are familiar with them, they're kind of getting more and more popular. The hydrosol is basically one of the byproducts of the essential oil distilling process. So when plant material such as peppermint, which is what this is, goes into a still, steam goes through it, you get two things out of it. One is the essential oil, which sits on top and is very, you get a very small yield out of it. But all of that water that has flushed through the plant material is the hydrosol. So this is much more cost effective because you're getting gallons of it every time you do an essential oil distillation. It's really gentle because it has just a small percentage of the actual potent essential oils. And it's a really wonderful way to incorporate it in a much more softer, gentle, everyday usage when you don't necessarily want the potency of your essential oils. So this is a peppermint. I always try to use an organic one if possible, because especially if you're applying to the skin, you want to just make sure that you're using the least amount of chemicals. And I keep this in the fridge. Most hydrosols should be kept in the fridge. It also keeps it nice and cool, which is great for the summer. And if you have a little spray bottle, all you want to do is just decant some of this into your spray bottle. And you can almost use this in the same way you would just use any kind of refreshing spritzer on the body or the face. So for example, if it's a really hot day and you just want to come in from being outside, or you go to the beach and you want to take this with you, the Peppermint Hydrosol is an amazing way to cool down, especially if you keep it in the fridge. I always keep mine in the fridge and just spray it whenever I need a little bit of just like an extra cool down. And here's a little fun fact about peppermint, which is why it's always used in cooling remedies, is that the peppermint essential oil is about 60% menthol. And menthol is, it activates the same receptors on the nerves that identifies when we are feeling cold. So it's kind of a trick on your brain because those same receptors and nerves are being activated, when in actuality, our temperature is the same. It just feels much cooler because it acts on those same nerve receptors. I think that's super cool. So that's why it's always a great go-to, anything menthol, to cool your skin down. So that was one for Awaken the Body. And then the next one I want to share with you is something very cooling, very refreshing. And it's just basically a DIY cooling washcloth that you can keep in your fridge with essential oils in it. It gives a very spa-like feeling and vibe. So this is the recipe for 2 washcloths. You could scale this up and do a whole bunch. I'm just going to use a cup of water. And instead of putting my essential oil on here, I'm going to put it into the water, mix it around, and then pour it over my washcloth. So for this recipe, I'm going to use 5 drops, and I'm using eucalyptus. I could use my peppermint, but I just want to switch it up and give myself those spa-like vibes, and I think eucalyptus always reminds me of that. But eucalyptus also has a cooling element that works in a little bit of a different way. It has a chemical called 1,8-cineol in it, which is a vasodilator and an expectorant. So it works a little bit differently in how it cools the body than this would. Plus, I just love the smell of eucalyptus too. It's beautiful. I really always am transported to being like outdoors and in some kind of a forest, which I love. So if you feel that either a mix of these or one of these is too strong, you can always add that sandalwood, a couple drops. You can add lavender, which I have my bottle here, a couple drops, and do a mix. But I am just going for it, and I'm gonna do 5 drops of straight eucalyptus. And oh my God, smells so good already. You might just want to give that a little whirl if you have like a little spoon or popsicle stick. And then all you're gonna do, super simple, is just douse your washcloth. Because we've pre-dispersed those essential oils, it's going to go through the washcloth. Just make sure it is all wet all the way through. And then what's important is you just want to make sure it's kind of wrung out pretty well. I can smell all of that eucalyptus through here, and it smells amazing. And then once you're done, just roll it up, pop them in the fridge. I have one right here that I've already done. It's super cool, to be honest with you. Oh my gosh. Not only is it cooling just from the refrigerator that it's been in for the last hour or so, the eucalyptus, and I've put this on the back of my neck, and once you can just kind of sit and close your eyes and start to smell it, it's gonna give you that cooling sensation on the skin, and it's gonna start to cool off your entire head and nasal passageways because of the expectorant quality of the 1,8-cineol that's in eucalyptus. It's really all-encompassing when you can put it on the neck or the chest. It's really beautiful. Make a bunch of these for your family. You know, Memorial Day is coming up. If you want to just have these kind of like popsicles in the fridge and hand them out to your family members, it's a really fast and easy way to cool off and awaken the body. All right. So lastly, I want to share a recipe for a wonderful, nourishing foot soak. Now, one of Dr. Murad's pillars of wellness, again, is nourishing the skin. And when it comes to summertime and with the heat and walking around a lot, our feet can really take a beating. They're swelling, they're sweating more than they normally would. And so ending the day with a beautiful, relaxing, and nourishing foot soak is a wonderful way to enhance your summer wellness and also just be kind to your feet at the end of the day. So you can use any kind of bowl or tub. I actually just wanted to show you this very deep foot tub. It's actually meant for feet, but you can use any kind of, large bowl that you can put a foot or both of your feet into. A nice thing about a deep one is it's almost just like soaking, and you can use a lot of water with it. But so for this recipe, you want to start off with any kind of just glass or stainless steel bowl. And I am using a 1/4 cup of pink Himalayan salt. You could use Epsom salt. You could use a Dead Sea salt. What I recommend though is using a fine grain, just because it's going to dilute way better, especially if you're using like a cold water, and melt versus a thicker grained Himalayan salt. So I really like using the fine grain for the foot bath. And then for this, and with the size of tub we're doing, we're just gonna do 6 drops of essential oil. Now, because it's the end of the day and I've had a really long day, I'm gonna actually infuse lavender into my blend. It's also not only floral, beautiful, and very calming to the nervous system, which is a great way to kind of close off the day and signal. If you wanted to, you could go 6 drops of peppermint, but for me at the end of the day, I'd like to kind of take the edge off a little bit and use my peppermint. And then I'm also gonna add 1 drop of tea tree. And tea tree is a really wonderful, it has more of a medicinal aromatic smell, but what I really like about putting it in a foot bath is that it's antimicrobial, antifungal. It's just really good to kind of clean your feet off at the end of the day. So just 1 drop of this. So I'm going to do with the lavender, peppermint, tea tree, a 3, 2, and 1 drop. So 3 lavender. Again, you can use other combinations that you like. So this is going to be my calming and nourishing. It's also, lavender is really nourishing for the skin. It's a great wound healer for the skin. So we're going to get all of those benefits. 2 of the cooling peppermint. And then I'm going to add 1 tea tree, which is a great healer. And then you just want to start to mix this together into your salt. It's going to start to break apart. And then I add 2 other ingredients to round off this recipe. So half a teaspoon of jojoba oil. The jojoba is actually going to soften your feet. It's going to feel really incredible, I promise you. And it has a lot of those antioxidant vitamins in there. So half a teaspoon. This is what it starts to look like, and honestly, it smells great. And the peppermint, don't undermine it. It's, even though we only use 2 drops, it's pretty aromatically strong. So I'm still getting a lot of that peppermint smell right off the top. And then the magic ingredient that I always recommend adding is 1 to 2 tablespoons of an unscented Castile soap. You could really use any kind of soap. I like to use this unscented Castile because it doesn't bubble too much, but what this does is it's going to disperse all of those essential oils into the water. So essential oils and water, it's like salad dressing. They don't mix. So if you don't have something to help disperse those essential oils, they'll basically just kind of float on the top, which is okay, but to get the full effect and have it go through all of the skin that's being submerged in the tub, I like to add, depending on the size, 1 to 2 tablespoons. Again, you can just add however much you feel. If you're doing a small tub, I would just do 1. This one's rather a large tub, so I generally go up to 2. And I like to add it in with the essential oils in this mix before I add all of this to the water, just to ensure that the essential oils in the soap are already starting to bind together before it hits the water. So it just starts to look like this. It's a little crumbly. And then basically all you're gonna do is I take my tub to the bathtub, fill it up. I use a tap cold just because I find that to be really relaxing on my feet at the end of the day. Dump this in, swish it around. You'll notice that the soap will make the water a little bit white and milky, but that's a good thing because it's really dispersing all of the essential oils throughout the water. And you have this super nourishing, softening, foot soak that's really relaxing at the end of a very hot day. And if you pair that with your cool eucalyptus towel on the back of your neck. Do that same exercise that we had done when we first started. Close your eyes down and just take an aromatic journey with your mind. It's amazing how you will feel super transported and very relaxed, and from a tactile point of view, extremely cooled down in summer heat. So those are all the recipes I have for you today. We have been kind to our mind with our summer blend. We have awoken the body with our Peppermint Hydrosol and our Eucalyptus washcloth. And we have nourished the skin with our foot soak at the end of the day. I really hope that you enjoyed this session for your wellness day on aromatherapy. Again, my name is Sarah Song, and you can find me if you have any questions about stress management, some of these recipes, tips on how to use essential oils safely. Please feel free to reach out. You can find me at Love Your Limbic on Instagram or Facebook. I will also be sticking around for about 30 minutes. If you have any questions and want to send them through, I will answer them for you. And please feel free to reach out. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, your wellness day, and I will see you soon. Okay, take care. Bye.